Okay, let us begin in this video, continue the discussion on the neoplasia, the hallmarks. To give a review, what we have learned, short review of what we have learned. We explained in these videos, in the previous videos, we have explained, the hallmarks. But some of them have not been explained so much because there is a genetic association which I will be taking separately. Okay, but yeah, overall I have given you the information of how a cancer cell can get the potential of being a cancer cell, how it is different from a normal cell, and that growth signal self-sufficiency, the first hallmark. I will be discussing it, by gene wise, like MYC gene, RAS gene, CDKs, cyclins. So that is a way to understand. So I'm just giving you an orientation first. You should get oriented. Then we said, it does not listen to any anti-growth signal, even if you give it a tumor suppressor gene. That is also the discussion which will be starting. The retinoblastoma gene. Okay. Evasion of apoptosis, we said, they regulate that apoptotic gene, P53, BCL2, and telomerase activity, we said. So I hope you remember this. So if I inhibit telomerase, what will happen? Let me take a different color. So if I inhibit telomerase, what will happen? If I inhibit telomerase, what will happen? Telomere will become long, long, long. Telomere will become long. Okay. So telomere will become long means no shortening. No shortening. No shortening means no aging. Isn't it? If you want to, very good. If you want to remain immortal, you will take this. Okay. Now I want to take, I want to take this discussion. How to take this discussion now? By the way, yesterday someone was asking me, can we give some examples of dysplasia, anaplasia, metaplasia? I have already given in the previous topics, but yeah, for your sake, I will give again. So you can write one example for each. For metaplasia, the example can be, write it in a small box. It's not related to topics. By the way, someone was asking me. So metaplasia, you can take Barrett's esophagus. Barrett's esophagus, myositis ossificans. I have discussed in detail about all of this in the, I think, general pathology. For anaplasia, the example is CA cervix. CA cervix means carcinoma cervix, and CA esophagus. CA esophagus. Okay, these are the examples of anaplasia. Rest, what you was asking, dysplasia. So dysplasia, you can write. You can add in that table also. Okay, it's your choice now how you want to remember. Squamous cell dysplasia, you can write. Squamous cell dysplasia. So these are the things which you can remember about that. Okay, fine. There is also someone asking me about the monoclonal examples that is, yesterday I had discussed. I will be giving you in immunology, but here I will say, for example, if we have leiomyoma of uterus, if we have leiomyoma of uterus, now you have two isoenzymes of G6PD. G6PD, you can have two isoenzymes, A and B. A and B. Okay. In case of uterine leiomyomas, you can have either A or B G6PD. Means you can have A form of G6PD, or you can have, are we able to understand? Or we have B form of G6PD. Okay. In the leiomyoma of uterus, either this or this. Okay. Are we understanding? So same example I can apply. Leiomyoma, I am saying group A, group B, type A, type B, isoenzyme of G6PD. But same uterus, if it is a pregnant uterus, if I talk about pregnant uterus, what about pregnant uterus? Pregnant uterus is not having any neoplastic proliferation, isn't it? The smooth muscle has undergone proliferations, in response, it's going hypertrophy, hyperplasia in that pregnant period. So some of the cells in that case also will be expressing. Some will be expressing A, some will be expressing B. The word is some. Guys. This is to be taken care of. So some will be expressing A, some will be expressing B. That means origin is dash. If some are expressing A, some are expressing B, origin is dash. So that means you are sleeping, isn't it? So there should be polyclonal origin. And if here I am saying either A, either B, dash origin. We have discussed yesterday's topic. Monoclonal, very nice. Monoclonal. Are we able to understand, guys, or not? We are just mugging up. We are not mugging up. We have understood. If now I could have directly, if I had directly tell you the example of A and B, would you understand monoclonal? You would say, sir, how A monoclonal, how B, isn't it? It feels easy, but if I confuse with A and B, what will happen? Won't be understanding. Yeah, I'm saying either A, so you'll be getting confused. Either A monoclonal, how, isn't it? Either B monoclonal, how? Some A, some B, again monoclonal. We could have gone confused with this concept of sum. So we have made it clear in yesterday's topic. We have practiced also for at least I think 5 minutes. Okay. Now that property of metastasis. Okay, local invasion and metastasis. So I want to discuss that. Okay, invasion and metastasis. So what was the hallmark? It was sixth. What was the number? Growth signal, insulin anti-growth signals. So there should be which number? Sixth, I think. Isn't it? Sixth. Yeah. So insensitive, if you forget how to remember, insensitivity to growth signals, anti-growth signals, evasion of apoptosis, limitless separate to potential sustained angiogenesis, tissue invasion and metastasis. So then we go to the sixth, tissue invasion and I am making you oriented first because many times we see the students, what happens that we get lost where we are, what we are studying. So better is to make the person oriented with time, place and person, isn't it? Glasgow comma scale, orientation with time, place and person. Um, okay, tissue invasion and metastasis. Tissue invasion means, what is the meaning of tissue invasion? What is the critical definition of tissue invasion, guys? Can tell us. So invasion means, are they same things? Are they same? You should answer, guys. You should answer. Don't wait like a Viva question. If they are same, then why? If not, then why? No, two questions are there. Not same. Not same. Why not same? No, yes or no, we know. But what is the reason for yes? What is the reason for no? It is so simple. It is so simple to understand. They are not equal. Okay. What is the meaning of invasion? Invasion means aggressive infiltration. Aggressive infiltration. Okay. By adjacent, for example, this is one cell. This has turned malignant. It will try to invade the adjacent tissue. This has been a malignant also. The nature of the cell is malignant. The nature of the cell is malignant and it is trying to aggressively infiltrate, means breaking the boundaries of these cells. Okay. And then it will depend where it is going, whether it is going in the blood vessel, whether it is going in the lymphatics, whether it is going, whatever distal sites it is going. But metastasis means implantation. Okay, this is implanting, isn't it? He's putting straight line. Implantation. Implantation to distal sites. Please write these things. You should be crystal clear with your concepts, guys. We have understood, but what is the crystal clear thing about these things? There should be some specific thing to understand. This is aggressive infiltration. This is implantation to distal sites. Distal is important. So that means I have to explain this invasion. See guys, invasion, benign tumors do not invade. Benign tumors do not invade. We have already made the sheet. But I have one benign tumor which can invade. Anyone? One benign tumor which can invade. I'll give you a chocolate. That to a distant site chocolate, distant metastasis site. From here to there. So it's dermatofibroma. Dermatofibroma is a benign variety which does not metastasize. It's a benign variety which invades the tissue. It can invade the tissue but does not metastasize. Metastasize. Beautifully written. How beautifully, science is, isn't it? Really love this science. Entirely different and attractive subject. Basically, benign tumors have that capsule. We remember that. And we know there was one exception which we learned in the previous video, that was leiomyoma, smooth muscle tumor, which was not having a capsule. Do we remember? Leiomyoma was the tumor of the smooth muscle uterine, by the way. Let me write uterine leiomyoma, the same uterine leiomyoma. It's not having a capsule. It's not having a capsule. Remember. So this is an exception to that statement of benign tumors have a capsule. But who is then able to invade? It is the malignant tumor which is able to invade. And if you want to determine that a tumor is malignant or not, invasion becomes the criteria. You should remember this fact. Invasion becomes the criteria to determine whether a tumor is malignant. Malignant we understand, distal site. Okay. Now I give an example, a common sense example. This is a cartilage. I think we have understood the cartilage histology. You can check that on the YouTube channel. Okay. I have made that video also in the histology. Now, is elastic tissue or cartilage tissue? Okay. If I take a cartilage, is it strong or is it smooth? Is it soft, friable? Is it friable or is it consistent? It is a bit hard consistency, isn't it? So will it allow invasion? Will it allow invasion? So remember, cartilaginous tissue resists invasion. It resists invasion. That means your arteries, if I take the artery has an elastic. See, it's how you connect things. I don't know whether how many things can you get. Arteries are having the elastic tissue. So can arteries allow invasion? Can an artery allow invasion? What happened, guys? Why you are thinking in such a manner? I have given you the tip here. They will resist. They will resist. Remember, some tissues have the nature from the anatomy, physiology, histology. You should have knowledge of these things. Then only you can explain this. Okay. So these have the ability to resist. Okay. Fine. Is it clear? Now, invasion. This invasion, once you have started the process of invasion, what will happen? They will try to go to the distant sites. They will try to, once they invade, the things which are present around that area, for example, the blood vessel, that will take that to the, make it with the flow. They will, flow with the wind, isn't it? The way the things are flowing, they will go with that, isn't it? Go with the flow. So uh, basically, benign tumors were slow growing, benign tumors were cohesive, benign tumors were expansile masses that were capsulated. Malignant tumors were showing infiltration, malignant tumors were showing invasion, malignant tumors were showing destruction by those collagenases and all those enzymes. So that means they will actually go for metastasis. Can you tell me any tumor which can't metastasize without using Google? Yeah, glioma, glioma. Glioma is the malignant tumor of CNS. Malignant tumor of CNS. Basal cell carcinoma, very nice answer. So basal cell carcinoma of skin. Basal cell carcinoma of skin, which is also called rodent ulcer. So they can't metastasize. They can't metastasize. It is the cancer of skin. This is the CNS. Are we able to understand? Okay. Okay. So if they are moving in a blood vessel, if they are moving in a blood vessel, what will I say? If they are moving in a blood vessel, what will I say? After invasion, they have reached the blood vessel in the extracellular matrix. So what will I say? We say it is undergoing embolism. So there is a cancer cell emboli, which is hematogenously moving. Okay. So you can also say, you know, if I take a leiomyoma again, leiomyomas are showing us in some cases, it's not that always you will be having a tumor which is invading the blood vessels and lymphatics. There may be tumors which can be infiltrating, some, some other things. For example, I give an example of leiomyoma. I give an example of leiomyoma. I hope you know this leiomyoma. Leiomyoma is a benign tumor of uterus, and it is showing us, what word can I use? Extensive blood vessel involvement. It is showing us extensive blood vessel involvement. Extensive. Can we understand extensive? Extensive blood vessel involvement. Okay. And if you say, sir, whether it will extend to inferior vena cava, that is, we are reaching towards the heart, there have been rare cases where you are seeing the IVC involvement. You are seeing the IVC involvement. So it's not that you strictly develop some things that, things will go into blood. It will determine, there will be factors, it will be determining this thing. Okay, are we clear? By the way, the blood vessel, the way it wants to go, can I say angiogenesis is also a factor for their in metastasis? Because cancer cell increases the capillary sprouts, isn't it? A cancer cell increases the capillary sprouts. It sprouts the capillaries, new angiogenesis is happening. Okay, now there can be synthesis. No, I can't say a new angiogenesis, by the way. I should say there were pre-existing capillaries. From there, it started making the sprouts. That's how, what terminology can I use? So this is the way I can say. So they sprouted the new capillaries for themselves from the parent capillaries or from the already present capillaries, pre-existing capillaries. Or they can do other thing. They can tell the endothelial cells to proliferate. For example, you had the vascular endothelial proliferatory cells. Then do we remember endothelial precursor cells, EPC, from the inflammation? So we have endothelial precursor cells. Endothelial precursor cells, they will tell them, this cancer cell will tell this endothelial precursor cell to make new capillaries from it. Isn't it? So these EP cells are coming from dash. EP cells come from dash. Bone marrow. I taught you so many times. They are coming from the bone marrow. Now from the bone marrow, they will come to the site of cancer. So in the bone marrow, it will tell the EPC. Okay. So it will tell the bone marrow, please make more EPC, please make more EPC, so that those EPC cells come here and they can come to the tumor sites. So that's the way they can go that capillary proliferation. Or they can also produce, these tumors can also produce what? I'm talking this all about metastasis. This can come in the topic of metastasis. Okay. Or they will tell the VEGF. I will give you a table in the end. Please understand this fact first. It's all about conceptual thinking. We don't have to just write like everybody writes. No, it's not microbiology that we are writing. We need concepts. It can also tell the VEGF. What is VEGF? Vascular endothelial derived growth factor. It will tell this factor to, this cancer cell will produce this factor. These factors will go on the endothelial cells. This will go on the endothelial cells. Which endothelial cells, sir? The already present endothelial cells. Please remember. And it will tell them to produce new capillaries for itself. So new capillaries for the cancer cell. Are we able to understand? Now we would be saying, sir, macrophages were coming, but whatever macrophages come, macrophages produce a factor that is called TNF alpha. Do we remember? There is a tumor necrosis factor being produced by the macrophages. And this is again causing the angiogenesis. So this is helping in the exaggeration of these angiogenesis. I don't want to go in the molecular details, but yeah, these are the things how it is producing angiogenesis. So you can add it under the heading of angiogenesis also. Okay, so it will come in both, metastasis, the way also that after that it will try to invade the blood vessel. What else can we think? This tumor cell is also producing some attracting factors. What does tumor cell produce? It produces some factor that is called attracting factors. Attracting factors. These attracting factors are behaving as chemotactic factors. Chemotactic factors. These chemotactic factors will attract who? Not girls, not boys. No, not that thing. It will attract endothelial cells from the parent capillaries so that new capillaries can be formed. So they are attracting these capillaries. Okay. How we will understand? Point of center of attention, isn't it? We have people who are center of attention, who want to be center of attention. They are very, very weak people, isn't it? Center of attention. The people who are always worried about the center of attraction, not center of attraction, center of attention. So it wants to be the center of attention. Okay, fine. Are we clear with this concept? Can I say, see, if you want someone to enter this place, this is a cancer cell. You want a blood vessel to enter here. And do you want to get it from the parent vessel? Yes, sir. We want to get it from the parent vessel. We want to get it from the parent vessel. You want to get it from the parent vessel. Would you put some drills here? Do you want to drill a hole here? Do you want to drill a hole here so that these endothelial cells can come to you and they can start making new endothelial cells? Do you want to produce those enzymes that can degrade these endothelial basement membrane? Once you drill this endothelial basement membrane, what will happen? You will allow the migration of endothelial cells. Like this I will show. You will allow the migration of endothelial cells, making new capillaries. So it's because of these degradation enzymes that you are able to cause this thing. Okay, are we clear, guys? So what are the pro-angiogenic factors? What are the pro-angiogenic factors? Right now I gave you a pro-angiogenic factor, VEGF. VEGF was the best factor I can give you. What are the anti-angiogenic factors? What are the and can we understand the meaning terminologies? What are the anti-angiogenic factors? Anti-angiogenic factors are Jennifer Lopez, isn't it? Should I write that? Guys, what are the anti-angiogenic factors? Angiostatin. I hope you have forgot everything from physiology, isn't it? My dear students, endostatin. Enjoy, you have forgot everything. These are the stopping factors for blood vessel. So do you want to increase pro-angiogenic factors or anti-angiogenic factors to cause angiogenesis? Common sense. So no, you should not speak like this. You should say, sir, the cancer cell will increase. Either it can increase the pro-angiogenic factors or it can decrease the anti-angiogenic factors. This is how you can say. Okay. So then you can have two processes happening. Once you increase these things, you are going to cause neoangiogenesis. You are going to cause neoangiogenesis, or you will be doing vasculogenesis. Vasculogenesis, isn't it? What is neoangiogenesis? Neoangiogenesis means dash. You are forming vessels from existing capillaries. From the existing capillaries, you are forming vessels. This is called neoangiogenesis. Neoangiogenesis. Vasculogenesis means you are telling those bone marrow endothelial cells to migrate, to increase these cells, bone marrow. So you are making more endothelial cells, recruitment. Are we able to understand? If you haven't read the basics of what endothelial cells are or what these things are, then it's very much difficult for you to understand the second year. If your first year is not clear, then maybe it's problematic for you. You should clear your concepts, basic concepts. Everything is from the basic. And these things will guide you in the diagnosis. Once you know physiology, anatomy, pharmacology, biochemistry, then only you can diagnose. It's not that you will master a specific clinical medicine subject and then everything is dependent on the lower subjects. That's why MBBS has clinical science, basic sciences. All these things are required, guys. Believe me. So, okay, I integrate this thing with pharmacology. Now, as a doctor, do you think that if I cut the blood supply of this cancer cell, I can treat the patient? Do you think that you will decrease the growth of the tumor if you cut these blood vessels? Don't think cut. I'm saying stop the blood circulation, because once you stop the blood circulation, you won't be giving the food to the cancer cell. So should I develop a drug in the laboratory that can inhibit the production of these new vessels? So we have a drug, please write in the box. Bevacizumab. So what is the bevacizumab? I'm integrating every subject, okay? Bevacizumab is a recombinant uh, humanized humanized. What happened suddenly? Let me take another pen. Humanized monoclonal antibody, I should write, not antibody, monoclonal antibody. Okay. So this is the humanized monoclonal antibody. See what is happening. Listen here. Please understand it today only. Do we know that we have VEGF? Do you want the VEGF to bind? VEGF will be having receptors on the endothelial cells. It will be having receptors on the endothelial cells. For example, I will tell you, this is the sprouting happening. At this point, there should be a VEGF receptor. VEGF receptor. And it was on this receptor that VEG was coming. VEGF was coming. Can I inhibit, put a blocker sort of a thing so that I can directly inhibit the binding? I can directly give this monoclonal antibody. isn't it? So I am inhibiting the fusion of VEGF2 endothelial cells. And these are the new sprouts, not the old ones. These are binding to the new sprouts. These are the new sprouts where they are binding. So that's why when I am learning the gastric adenomas, or I am talking about the GI malignancies, for example, colon cancer or non-small cell carcinoma of lung, pulmonology also. So there also we will be using these drugs. So you can use this drug for treatment of non-small cell carcinoma of lung. You can use it for this was for lung. In GIT also one tumor is there, metastatic colon cancer. Metastatic colon cancer. So you can use this drug, what? Bevacizumab. It's a monoclonal antibody. MAB means monoclonal antibody. Are we clear? So this was about your angiogenesis and combined discussion about that. Okay, I made it simple for you. Fine. Now, if you want to invade the tissue, now if I was talking about the invasion of the tissue, now if I go into the invasion of the tissue, where is the invasion? I was talking about the invasion of the tissue. If I want to invade, should I break the cell junctions between them? There are cell junctions between them. Should I break them? Yes, I should break them, because you are not answering, so I will increase the speed. Okay. So there will be the cell junction. One of the cell junction is an E-cadherin. E-cadherin. If you break this E-cadherin, what will happen? The junction will loosen up. The junction will lose up means you are getting separated. You are separating them, isn't it? You are separating them. So you are paving a way for this cancer cell to invade. You are paving a way for this cancer cell to invade. Another thing, if it wants to go downstairs, down through the basement membrane, you should have what? Metalloproteinases. Metalloproteinases, collagenases, all those. We will be using those enzymes to break these basement membrane. Okay. And once it has to attach to the extracellular matrix, so this is the extracellular matrix which I am talking about. This extracellular matrix contains laminin, fibronectin. So what happens? It binds to them and starts the process of locomotion. And reaches the blood vessel, will cause hematogenous dissemination. So is now the cancer cell going to circulate throughout the body? So you know that you have extracellular matrix between the cells. Some people are wanting me to repeat this. You have extracellular matrix between the cells. So if you want to break this barrier and reach, because it's a barrier for a cell can't move ideally. But if you want to metastasize or you want to invade, you should have some enzyme to break these proteins. So ECM has some proteins that is called laminin. Let me zoom a little. Laminin and fibronectin, for example. So it will attach to this. What will attach, sir? Cells will attach to these ECMs. Okay, extracellular matrix. When they attach, what will happen? Degradation will start. Once they attach, what will happen? Migration will happen. Locomotion will happen. And vascular dissemination happens. Now able to understand? Easy now? No, it's a row of cells. On the first day, I have made a row of cells. You have junctions in between them. So you have to break this junction. You have to digest the enzymes. It's a common sense. Okay. Is there any problem understanding the angiogenesis? So how can you spread? How can you spread? How can you spread now? Now we are going towards the metastasis, more of a metastasis. So you want to spread these emboli. You have two ways. You have basic two ways. If you think, you would be saying, sir, vessels are there, so the best transport I can take is the vessel. The best transport I can take is the vessel. Which vessel? Blood vessel or lymphatic vessel, or I can directly go into the body cavity also. Why not? If I am a ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer can directly go into the peritoneum. If I am a pseudomyxoma peritonei, if I am pseudomyxoma peritonei, I can directly go into the viscera, abdominal viscera. No, appendical cancer, isn't it? Appendical cancer. So any appendical cancer actually, um, that mucus secreting cancer can be causing that pseudomyxoma peritonei. Pseudomyxoma peritonei. Okay. What are the ways I can spread? Let us write. Okay. Let us write. Metastasis. What is the meaning of metastasis first? What is the meaning of metastasis? You should tell me. I have taught you metastasis means implantation to distal sites. Okay. So metastasis can be a multi-step process, isn't it? Metastasis, you need to first make a vessel also if you want to metastasize. Then angiogenesis will come also in the play. You need to be invasive, and then also they transport the highway you want to take to reach those cells, isn't it? Fine. Now I will like to give you some ways of how things metastasize. Okay, I'm going very much slow I'm going, because you people have requested me to go slow. Okay, so I'm going slowly. So metastasis means distal site, the same thing. Am I writing distal site implantation, distal site implantation? So I will be writing distal site implantation, distal site implantation, implantation. What happened? This is implanting. Every time this happens, implantation. Okay. So if I am distally going, I am reaching from this spot to this spot. Am I having any physical connection with this? Guys, don't think more about physical connections. Is there any physical connection? No physical connection. This is called physical discontinuity. This is called physical discontinuity. Physical discontinuity, guys. Physical discontinuity. So the primary site where the tumor was originally present is not there. It's at a distal site. So is it physically discontinuous? Yes, sir, it is physically discontinuous. From which it is discontinuous? Primary tumor. And that is what we'll be telling you. Ideally, these cells should not be present there. If a cell is arising from a squamous cell, should be a squamous cell, carcinoma, they should be present at that local. But if it has metastasized to the other side, which is not the ideal site for that, which is not the cell which should be ideally present there, I would not be saying hamartoma. It's not that. It's abnormal cell. Okay, abnormal cell, but a metastatic cell. Hamartoma was, choriostoma was different thing. Do we remember? I had gone to some other site. Pancreatic tissue, stomach, I had gone to an abnormal site. But this is entirely a different thing. It is entirely a different thing. It is a physically discontinuous with already benign tumor present somewhere. How we will understand? So this is what the process of metastasis is. Can I say metastasis is the most important feature that can describe, that can distinguish me from malignant and benign tumor? I can give the difference based on this definition that metastasis is present in this, not present in that. Okay. Now, what are the ways I can go? I have three ways to metastasize. Let me make it like this to make life easy. Metastasis, I can three ways. Very nice. Lymphatic system is also there. So metastasis, three ways. Direct seeding, lymphatic spread. Other people are not replying. That means they are tired, isn't it? So I will stop the lecture. Don't worry. Lymphatic spread, hematogenous spread. Very nice. Hematogenous spread. Okay. When I feel you are tired, I will stop teaching. So lymphatic spread, hematogenous spread. Okay. Should I make it more easy? The question will be asked, which is the most common question, which will be the most common cavity affected in direct seeding, which is the most common cavity? Peritoneal cavity. Peritoneal cavity. So that means it should be from a nearby area. It is from nearby area, that is the ovary. So if there is a carcinoma of ovary, CA ovary, so if they seed, so you should say like this, if they seed to the viscera, so this is the viscera. No metastasis we know, but what will happen? Then there they will be producing some products also, isn't it? They'll be producing some products also, like one of the example is pseudomyxoma peritonei. Pseudomyxoma. Should not write LKG things. Please write something standard. You are a doctor, MBBS student. Should be writing some standard things. Don't write metastasis. It's also written in 6th class books today. I have seen the ICSE board is also writing these things in the small school children. What's the difference between you and them? So pseudomyxoma peritonei. Pseudomyxoma peritonei. What is pseudomyxoma peritonei? If you have a mucus secreting, let us write the definition. If you have a mucus secreting appendiceal carcinoma, this can secrete more mucus. If it secretes more mucus, what will happen? It will be having that gelatinous mass. This is called pseudomyxoma peritonei. Pseudomyxoma means pseudomyxoma, not a true myxoma. Okay. So if you have any tumor of the appendix, appendical cancer, increasing the mucus secretion will be called as pseudomyxoma peritonei, which is in the abdominal viscera, the best example. So this is a direct seeding. What happened? Okay. Maybe yes, the degree of differentiation will be also poor. That's why this happened. Okay, fine. Have you understood, guys? Where are the other students? I will ask them on the audio, don't worry. Let me finish the class. I have noted some people who are not replying to me. I have noted here by the side. I have noted. Okay. I'll be asking on the audio the full lecture. Gelatinous mass. What else can we write? Yeah, we should go for a lymphatic spread. So what about lymphatic spread? What to write about lymphatic spread? Lymphatic spread is mostly common, you can say. Common spread, common way of spreading the carcinomas. So carcinomas will spread by this. Okay. If you tell me, sir, what is the choice? Which route do they take? We have a plane. I don't know how to make a plane. Not an artist, but yeah, something like that. This is a plane, okay? This is a plane. This is me sitting here, okay? So another I have what? Let us make a sedan type, okay? Sedan type, okay, sedan type. This is I think there are 4 wheels in a car. We used to make it in 1D. So this is, where should be the light? The light should be at the front, okay? Light should be at the front to make life easy. Okay? And this is me. This is me, okay? So this is which route? This is air. This is road. Okay. Now if you tell me, sir, what is the route? Usually both will spread. Carcinomas also spread like this, sarcomas also spread. But you would say, sir, what is the tendency? You can use the word tendency. If they ask you a special question, what is the tendency? Tendency will be carcinomas will tend to metastasize lymphatics. So carcinomas, lymphatics. So car is lymphatics. Car is lymphatics. Okay. SAR is sarcomas mostly blood. Sarcomas mostly blood. Okay. Sarcomas in the blood. So make a blood vessel like this. So this blood vessel, sarcomas. Okay. Sarcomas in the blood vessel. So you should be writing a hematogenous dissemination will happen. Hematogenous dissemination. Okay. So I have two exceptions here. I was saying I have carcinomas. Carcinomas go through. They are going through what? Hematogenous dissemination. But we have two exceptions that are, showing, two exceptions we have. Remember these routes of metastasis. We have renal cell carcinoma, RCC. What happens suddenly to this? Don't know. RCC, renal cell carcinoma. Renal cell carcinoma. And we have hepatocellular, HCC, hepatocellular carcinoma. They are the exceptions. Just remember this much. They have hematogenous dissemination. They have hematogenous dissemination. Okay. They go into venous. They have venous invasion. They have venous invasion. Are we clear, friends? Have we understood this? So what is the lymphatic? So let me write something about this. I was giving you an overview. So what to write about lymphatic spread? Lymphatic spread, what will happen? So wherever the draining, for example, you have a sentinel lymph node. You have a sentinel. What is a sentinel lymph node? What is a sentinel lymph node, guys? Sentinel lymph node means the first principal lymph node which is draining a organ. For example, in the breast, okay, in the axilla, a sentinel lymph node. You take a sentinel lymph node. So in which cases will you be taking a sentinel lymph node? In which cancers, by the way? So one I told you, breast cancer. Which other cancers will you be taking? Malignant melanoma. My dears, you have to work hard. Malignant melanoma. Which conditions are the colon cancer? You will take the sentinel. Sentinel lymph node will be very much helpful for you guys. Vulval cancer. These all will be having. You can use this sentinel lymph node. Have you understood? So what is the definition of sentinel lymph node? Sentinel lymph node is the first lymph node which receives the lymph flow, because lymphatics drain the tissue. This is a tissue we usually marked with green. So the draining first node, for example, this is a tumor. So tumor was in this region. So here the sentinel lymph node will be draining this region. This will be draining this region. So this will be called a sentinel lymph node. This lymph node here will be called a sentinel lymph node. Okay. So you will be using this. So you can use it for colon carcinoma, breast. Okay. Fine. So there is also one concept, by the way, of this. There is that is called skip metastasis. What is skip metastasis? Skip metastasis means when you have any abnormal connections in which you are bypassing the lymphatic drainage. Okay. If you have any anastomotic connections, this is called anastomosis. If you have any venous lymphatic anastomosis. So if I have a venous to lymph, if I have a vein to lymph anastomosis, V and L, what will happen? You will be bypassing the lymph node. Okay, you will be bypassing. So venous lymphatic anastomosis will bypass the lymph node. That is called skip metastasis. So you should know these terms. Okay, so this was about lymphatics. Let me write about hematogenous. Have you written this? Let us write hematogenous. What is hematogenous? Blood. So mostly you will have sarcomas, except RCC and hepatocellular, HCC. Okay, there is a question: which sarcomas will go through lymphatics? Which sarcomas go through lymphatics? Ideally, you are saying sarcomas are going through hematogenous, but I am telling you sarcomas. Some sarcomas are following which route? Lymphatic route. Which sarcomas? Alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma. Let me write alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma and synovial sarcoma. Synovial sarcoma. Are we clear? So what are these sarcomas? They will follow lymphatics. So let me make like this. They will follow lymphatics. Okay. Are we clear, guys? So which of the following will be causing? So I am telling you, I'm giving you two choices: veins or arteries. Which will be nicely letting this spread? Veins or arteries? Veins, very nice, because veins have a thinner wall, isn't it? Arteries have more of the muscular layer. Muscularis is more in the arteries, but veins don't have. So veins will be more preferential for venous invasion. Okay, so which organs will be mostly affected in hematogenous spread? Remember that also. Which organs? Where to write? Hematogenous. So which organs affected in hematogenous? Liver, lungs. Liver, lungs are affected most commonly. That's why we said HCC and RCC. They will be having most common invasion in veins. Okay, so veins have been prominent in these two organs. I hope you are understanding. Okay, so let us end this discussion with a chart. Okay, let us make a chart here how things are spreading. Okay, so that it becomes easy for you to remember. Okay, so let us write some steps. The steps for, let us write like this. Please write a heading: steps for hematogenous route by malignant tumors. Let us write some steps. Number one, what should be the first step, guys? First, there has been already the clonal proliferation, monoclonality, clonal proliferation. We are now summarizing. Clonal proliferation will be happening. Now, these clonal proliferation will invade. They will be digging to get invaded. Okay, let me make like this. Let me make a blood vessel. This is the connective tissue. Here is the tumor cell. So you have a proliferation of cells there. You have a proliferation of cells there. Now they want to go here. So already you have done the step one. Clonal proliferation is done. Already it's done. It should not be actually the step, but yeah, I'm just making easy for you. So you know that only those will be having the potential which can, okay, which has a capacity to metastasize. It's not that these all cells can metastasize. That you already know. Okay. What the first step will be that to invade, they will lose adherence. They will lose EEC adherence. Okay. Fine. Second step will be attachment. So you should write like this. Second step will be attachment. Attachment to what? Laminins. I told you already, isn't it? What are laminins? Proteins, glycoproteins. Okay, in the basement membrane. So in the basement membrane, they will attach to them. So one cell is attached here. Okay. There they will release some enzymes. What are the enzymes released? Here they will release some enzymes. This is the all the basement membrane. Remember, are we able to understand, guys, or we are sleeping? This is the basement membrane. So they will be attaching and they will be producing some enzymes. Let me put some enzymes here, dot, enzymes. Enzymes are metalloproteinases. What are the example of metalloproteinases? We have gelatinases, we have stromalysins, we have collagenases. I have told you everything. So they will produce those secretions. So collagenases. So you will write here by, here they will start what doing? How do we write? Release metalloproteinases. Release. What is happening suddenly to this? So they will release metalloproteinases. So what are the metalloproteinases? Metalloproteinases are collagenases. What else? I think you are not learning, guys. You haven't learned in the past first year. Gelatinases and what else? Stromylins. Stromylins. These all will be degrading. They all will degrade this. Okay. Fine. Connective tissue degraded. Now ready to get inside, but not right now. Not. It has to attach to the ECM receptors. So attachment to ECM receptors. So you should write like this. So attachment. Okay. Write the way I'm telling you. Okay. Attachment to ECM receptors. Attachment to ECM receptors. Okay. Attached. Now they will be producing cytokines. After this, they will produce cytokines. Cytokines, think that cytokines are behaving as a car. Think like that. They are allowing them to move. Okay. Just remember for movement, for locomotion, you can write. Cytokines will help them in the locomotion, so that you are bringing them from this space to this space. This will be done by the cytokines. Okay. So can I call this process as, once they enter the circulation, can I say intravasation has happened? Intravasation of emboli or intravasation of this cancer cell. Intravasation of this cancer cell. Fine. Easy. Now in the blood there can be T cytotoxic cells, isn't it? In the blood there will be T cytotoxic cells. T cytotoxic cells or killer cells will tell them, what are you doing here? Okay. So while, for example, there are one cell is talking to three guards, three police. One cell is talking to three police. This one escapes. Okay. This one escapes. So while talking to these officers, T cytokine, T cytotoxic and T killer cells, since the cells are so much, or some of them are able to escape. Some of them are able to escape. Okay. So they can produce some coatings. Okay. Sometimes what they do is they don't let them to get tagged. They tag themselves with something. They put fibrin on themselves. They put platelets on themselves. Do you know this? From the hematology I have taught you. They will bind themselves with fibrin. Let me tell you the truth. They bind themselves with fibrin. They are so clever. Okay. They have fibrin coats on them, so that the body thinks that, yeah, they are normal. They'll go like that. Coat themselves. Okay. Change. Do you know chameleon? Exactly, they are behaving like a chameleon. They are thinking that their own bodies things, Okay, okay. Now same process you reverse. Once it has to now go to the, it has escaped this mechanism. It will now go to the other tissues. So how to enter the tissues? Just reverse this mechanism. Simple, common sense. Reverse this mechanism. Start doing the same thing. Attachment, and then all that will cause, can I use the word here, extravasation? Can I use the word extravasation? Because now it's entering the tissues. There was intravasation, now it's extravasation, and now it is making some metastatic area. This is now a new metastatic center where it is now living. Okay, the rest of the story I will be telling you tomorrow. Just remember at least this much. So from the intravasation, it will go into the blood, and from the blood it will try to escape by coating itself with fibrin and other you can say other compounds, okay, other products, and then it will, there you write reverse the four processes of above to enter the phase of extravasation. Now it's leaving the blood and entering the tissue, so I will write extravasation, and then new focus of metastasis formed in this tissue. Are we clear? So from this, there is no story, I think. So something was come in my mind. So this is how metastasis happens. This is how metastasis is happening. Can we understand this mechanism? So please write in the same way. Okay, write in the same way. Are we clear? So you can note it. If you are noting, I can give you some time. So we will discuss more in the next video. Thank you. Take care and bye-bye.